Hi, I'm Sibran Dijkstra. I'm the CEO of DJ Studio, and I'd like to introduce you to a new way of making mashups, DJ mixes, or prepare your DJ sets. We all know how to make a DJ mix. Turntable on the left, turntable on the right, lots of knobs, and to make a mix of 1 hour, you need at least 1 hour of recording time. Hopefully everything goes well. If not, you need to edit your audio afterwards to make a good DJ mix. Another option is to use a DAW, a digital audio workstation. But DAWs are meant for producers to produce music, and DJs play with produced music, and that's a completely different league. So that's why we came up with DJ Studio, a DAW specifically for DJs. We have two modes. We have the DJ mix mode and the mashup mode. The mashup mode is for making a mashup of a few tracks that you want to use in your DJ set. The DJ mix mode is to make a DJ mix fast. No worries about your music collection, we connect to all major DJ live performance apps. Mixing tracks is not only about matching beats, it's also about matching music. Music is created in key and the keys should not clash, otherwise you're going off tone. Well, for the easy mixing, there is the Camelot wheel, which numbered the notes that are compatible with each other. If you go one number up or down, you're always safe. That's called fuzzy mixing. Well, we also support mood mixing, where you can make other steps on the Camelot wheel for adding more energy to your mix. Ordering a key on tempo is not an issue, but if you need to order it on tempo and on key, that can be a really tough job. That's why we have an harmonize button. When you press it, we help you order your playlist in the best harmonical order. And if it's harmonically compatible, then there is no issue in mixing the tracks. In DJ Studio, we mix on a timeline. We have two decks. The tracks are connected with a so-called transition window. This is the blue window that contains the transition going from one track to the other. We also have stem separation, where we separate the drum, the bass, the melody, and the vocal. Ideal if you get a clash, or in this example, a tonal clash. Simply remove the melody from one track and then you mix in the new track and the tones won't clash, so you don't need to bother about the key. You can also copy these stems to the sample lanes. We've got 3 sample lanes where you can play around with small snippets of the tracks to spice up your transition. We have AI beat reading, where we can find every individual beat in a track. If you want to mix live recorded music, like disco music from the 80s, which was always recorded live in the studio, you will see that there is a tempo difference. Take Come On Eileen, for example. It is an outlier going from 107 BPM to 222 BPM, but it is an example that our AI is able to follow every beat. So if you want to redrum an old disco song, which has really varying beats, no worries. We identified every individual beat and the modern tracks will get aligned to the tempo of the old track. It's really fascinating. So if you look at the workflow of DJ Studio, you grab your local tracks from your favorite DJ music library, or you grab the music online from Beatport or BeatSource. You select all the tracks you want to have in your mix, you press the harmonize button, we will do the ordering for you, then you can focus on the transitions really fast. And once you're ready, you can export your mix to an audio file, a video that you can upload to YouTube. You can export the prepared DJ set, including cue points, to Rekordbox or Serato. Or if you are a producer and you want to do the mastering of your mix in Ableton, we can create an Ableton project file for you. Let's create a new project where you have the choice between a DJ mix or a mashup. Let's go for the DJ mix. This is the AdTracks home screen, where you can choose to browse for new tracks on Beatport, for example, or where you can go to one of the many charts that are in DJ Studio if you're looking for inspiration, or you can simply go to your own music library. We connect to all the major live performance applications. Let's go, in my case, to Rekordbox. And here you see the playlists. These are your playlists that are read live from Rekordbox, so you don't need to import anything into DJ Studio. Here you see the tracks. You can select the tracks and preview listen. And if you like the track, you can select the tracks to add them to your playlist. I now have 4 tracks in my playlist, make it 5. And let's grab some more tracks. And now I have 4 hours of music to put in my mix. This is the playlist view. At the end, we see the key and how compatible the key is with the previous track. So if you want to do harmonic mixing, making sure that you're not going off tone, then this is the place where you can order your mix. You can do this manually. So this 4A, I can bring it over here. And this 1, I can bring it in front of the 2. And they become compatible with each other. If the keys don't match, like going from a 10B to a 1A, we show a cross in here. And we have a few options to solve it. Pressing the solve button, we show you going from a 10B to a 1A, we need a 12B or an 11A in between. And we show the tracks from your library, and I can select Paul van Dyk, for example, to add it to my mix. And now you see by adding the 12B, we have solved this harmonic issue. Another way to solve this harmonic issue is selecting the key where you have the option to pitch up or pitch down the track. Have a listen. So this is the normal level. And you hear we're going down 1 semitone or 2 semitones. Well, going 2 semitones down or up, you become always compatible with the previous track. So going 2 down now, we are compatible with the 10. We also have another option for you, and that is that we automatically do the ordering. I go to the Harmonize button. We can do the harmonization of your playlist. For the transitions, you can set presets. I always love the bass swap, the volume and the bass. You can set your own transition presets, and you can tell DJ Studio how long the transition should be and where the transitions are placed. We don't do any transition magic. That creative part is totally up to you. And then we have the playlist ordering. Here you can tell the algorithm that you'd like to do mood mixing, where you can order on tempo or order completely on key or somewhere in the middle. And I press the Harmonize button. And now we make a lot of mix combinations to see what the perfect order would be for your tracks on tempo and on key. And key is really important so that you prevent going off tone. And that's the last thing that you want as a DJ, of course. Harmonize did a very good job. We start with Moondancer with 4A, and the algorithm started with 4A with 125. Over here you see the tempo going up, down and up again. And all the tracks are now compatible with each other, except this one issue over here. Well, now that the tracks are harmonically compatible, you can go off tone in the transitions. So let's jump into the studio now. The 2 top lanes, these are the decks. And we alternately load the tracks for you on the decks, going from deck 1 to 2 and then to 1 again. If you want to add extra information, we have a few sample lanes in here where you can add extra samples or stems or other tracks. Zooming in with your scroll wheel, you see the structure of the track. Murder on the Dance Floor and the phrase information in here. This information is imported from Rekordbox. You can click anywhere in the screen to position the playhead, and with the spacebar you can start playing the music. Using the scroll bar you can zoom in and you see the waveform of the tracks and the beat rate. Pressing escape will follow the playhead, and pressing escape again will let the playhead walk freely. Editing the tracks is really easy. You can select the phrases, and let's say I don't want to have the second build-up. Selecting it, pressing delete, and now there is a cut in here, and listen to it. The cut is made perfectly on the beat. And then we have the transitions. The transition windows are a signature of DJ Studio. Those are these blue windows. Let me zoom in a bit. This transition is where the magic is happening. This is where we transition from track 1 into track 2. And within the transition window is the automation for the transition. So in here we see the white line, that's the volume. I can grab the volume and place it somewhere, and there's the bass swap. And I can grab the bass swap and move it around as well. And you see the bass is swapping from this track to this track in here. When you grab the transition window, you can drag the complete track forward. You can also grab the track, and now you can move the incoming part. And of course, I can grab this track as well and move it underneath the transition window. Clicking on the transition window will zoom it and show me in more detail where I can do the transition. Well, I see here's the build-up, so let's grab this track and move it into the transition window. And I think somewhere over there could be a nice, safe transition. And let's have a listen. I can go to the transition presets over here, and here I can make changes to the position of the crossfade where I like to have it. The bass swap, I can do a fade in, or I can do a fade out, or I can do the swap. And pressing the parameter in here, I can make some space here, leaving out 2 beats or 4 beats. Have a listen. Now I have 4 beats out. Over here you see the low and the high keys. And this is a nice trick to remove the bass and bring it back later on. I can also go to effects in here. I can add a filter, high to low, low to high, or you can do manual automation as well. So have a look at this track and bring the filter up. Let's have a listen again. And you hear the filter effect. Once you like this transition, you can press the lock button, and now you can't make any changes to this transition anymore. In the playlist, you see the tracks are locked in here, and you're not able to put a track in between. So this transition is sealed now. Once you're ready with this one, you can press the next transition button, and now we jump to the outgoing part. You see there is a part of the track that is grayed out. This is because it's outside of the transition, and this is where the transition starts. Well, you can grab the transition header like this and now move it over here so that we have the intro part as well.
Yes, beautiful.
Okay, so now we have another issue, and that's that we have a vocal clash. So let's remove the EQ completely and go to the next step, and that's stem transitions. So when I press this button over here, I can show the stems of the track: the drum, the bass, the melody, and the vocal. Let's press the zoom button over here to get some more screen estate. In here we see the incoming vocal, and we have a double vocal over here, and that's a vocal clash. So what I can do is simply switch off the vocals in here, and now this issue was fixed really easy. Another option is to make a swap. We have a button over here, and using this swap button, you see we literally do a swap. And burn this a little bit over here. This is better. This melody over here, I don't need it. I can grab this bar and move it completely out. Another option is to do a crossfade where you grab the top circle and you can do a cross automation. And again, it's always connected to the other stem. Well, let's do the drums over here. A last finishing touch would be to repeat the vocal from Murder on the Dance Floor. I can mark a block over here and When I release the button, I get the option to copy the vocal to the sample lane. Selecting it, we will generate a high quality version of the vocal in here. And now let's press the S for solo and have a listen. This is good enough. And let's bring it over here. These are muted because I pressed the S for solo. Releasing it is let's have a listen. Okay, burn this. I have two options. I can shorten this sample like this, or I can do a fade out on the sample. And maybe I like to add some effects, a reverb or an echo. This is cool. Let's solo this sample over here and have a listen. So this is also a nice way to spice up your mix. And if you want to add more samples to your mix, I can press the Option key and I can drag this sample over here. And let's see if she can repeat what she is singing over here again. And she is singing out of time. You see, I did not align the bars. Let's try it again. And this is a nice way to play with the stems. For playing with samples, we do have a mashup mode where you can do specific combinations on a track. But also in here, let's find a nice vocal, supersonic, and add it to my mix. Here's my supersonic track in the mix. Have a listen. Yes, there is the vocal. I'd like to know where it is exactly. So instead of having the waveform view, I can also choose to do the vocal and the instrumental view. Over here is the vocal and I like to extract this part to the sample lane. So I mark it, I release the mouse, copy it to the sample lane, and here is the vocal. I press the S for solo and have a listen. Motivating rhymes are created. There it is. The vocal is nice. There's not much volume and it sounds really dry. Well, for dry, we of course have reverb and echo. These effects have two modes. We have an edit mode and we have a weighing mode. And the weighing mode is while you're playing. I press play and play with the reverb. JJ Fast, devastating. We know with the echo. Girl, so you better get and now that you know that you want to have the reverb, you stop the playhead, you press the reverb again. The little yellow block you see that you added is the local automation. You can move it around, you can extend it, or you can automate it just like any other automation. If you simply want to have it on the whole block, you press this zoom button and now the whole block has supersonic motivating rhymes. Yes, this is the supersonic reverb vocal that I was looking for. Stop soloing, have a look. Let's bring over this vocal to the David Guetta song and see where she starts singing at the 21. I think this is the place where we need to start singing. And now let's have a listen. Yes, it's all good. And I like this supersonic. Maybe we can copy this, Command C, and have it over here as well. And burn this, burn this. Let's align the bars. I have the vocal clash, of course, but what I can do, I can press this mute original stems, and now wherever I place the supersonic, the original vocal is removed. Have a listen. And now there is muted a bit too much, so remove one beat. I press the Option and let's have a listen. Supersonic, and again, and now let's have a listen. And you see how easy. And now you see how easy it is to do wordplay. Well, I'm already getting lost in meshing up tracks. That's where we have mashup mode, but this is also possible in the DJ mix mode. Once you're ready with your mix, you can export it, and there we have a lot of options. You can export it in all audio formats. You can split up the mix. With the ultimate version of DJ Studio, you can generate videos if you want to upload your mix to YouTube, for example. Export the playlist to your favorite DJ software. We can even export directly to Rekordbox or Serato, including the cue points, so that you see where you placed your transition windows for the start of the transition, the bass swap, and the end of the transition. If you want, you can upload it directly to Mixcloud, or we even have an export to Ableton if you want to do your mastering over there. If you want to play with DJ Studio yourself, we do have a 7-day free trial, so go to our website dj.studio, download the software, and have as much fun as I have with DJ Studio.